Ben Johns has officially moved over to JOOLA as his paddle sponsor.
Ben got a new paddle.
Ben's playing with a new paddle.
The JOOLA paddle. It is pronounced JOOLA, the new paddle.
I would say a lot more power and a lot more spin.
Must be the new paddle.
Well, welcome everybody. Today we are doing first thoughts on my first tournament with JOOLA and the Hyperion series here. So yeah, we're here in Red Rock and I'm about to be in 3 finals, but I just wanted to give you all a few thoughts on what I've been thinking this week about the paddle. So basically, you know, I think it's definitely an adjustment period. Going from a fiberglass face playing for 6 years to a carbon fiber face was a dramatic move, but that was my move. You know, I designed this paddle and I knew that carbon fiber was going to be fundamentally better for the face. It's more durable, it spins more, and it's more solid around the edge. So I knew mechanically, fundamentally, it's a more solid, better paddle all around, and that's why I made the switch. So it's definitely been an adjustment period, but I'm very confident in my decision with JOOLA and the paddle. So far I am liking just kind of figuring out how to use it to the best of my abilities. So it's like kind of a new puzzle to solve, which is part of the stuff I love in pickleball. So throughout the tournament, I've actually been experimenting a little bit with lead tape placement and grips and stuff. So if you've watched my former YouTube video about how to set up my paddle, there will be another one of those coming. So I've been trying to place some around the top, some around the throat like I used to, and kind of experimenting with different amounts and different placements. I even put some in the grip, and I've been doing 1 under grip, 2 under grip before an over grip. It's really just kind of messing around with the balance, because these are coming in at a different balance than what I used to play with. It's a different material, different core, and different total weight. So there's a lot of variables to experiment with, and I'm still trying to isolate, but what I'm doing for Championship Sunday is 2 strips of lead around the throat on each side, here and here, much like I used to, except less tape because I don't need it quite as much for the carbon fiber. And I'm going 1 under grip instead of 2 like I used to, and then 1 over grip. Some things that I've personally noticed kind of adjusting to this weekend is it definitely grips the ball more on the face. So kind of actually using my wrist a little bit more, which usually I coach players not to use their wrist a lot. But you can actually flip the ball a little bit more if you use the wrist with this kind of face. So I've been getting used to that. And funnily enough, as JOOLA is a table tennis company, I've found that some table tennis strokes from my old table tennis days have come in handy, like a forehand loop and a backhand drive. It has some similarities just because it grips the ball more, and that's more similar to what I'm used to from table tennis. So yeah, definitely adjusting to those things. And another thing is kind of this circular part of the paddle around the outside has definitely a different feel that I'm used to, and I feel like it's very solid out there, but how I'm trying to hit my attacks has to change slightly. So definitely adjusting to that too, and I think dropping the paddle face, much like this, has been a big help, especially with the forehand, and really just kind of trusting that the paddle's going to grip and spin the ball, and use my wrist more, and being more aggressive has been really helpful this week. So that's really what I'm focusing on. So one thing in designing this paddle is I feel like after I get used to it, it definitely has a higher ceiling than what I previously used, simply because my switch from the fiberglass face to the carbon fiber face, what I kind of had in mind was a little more spin. It definitely grips the ball a little bit more, and definitely shores up the edges a little bit. It's a little more solid around the outside, so less of a miss hit. And it's definitely a different feel. Like, I don't feel the ball quite as much on the face with this surface, but it's almost like you just got to trust your strokes and trust what you've been doing all along, so that you don't actually need to feel the ball that much. So definitely in terms of maximum potential, I definitely believe that this paddle has a long way to go for me. So I feel like I'm playing well right now, but it could be extremely well in the future. So I don't know about you guys, but personally I love the aesthetics. So in terms of overall dimensions, it's similar to what I'm used to, the 16.5 by 7.5, and then we got a handle around 5-7 inches, so pretty standard there. But definitely the shape is something I'm not quite used to, and I personally like the look of. So we kind of got this, which is pretty normal, but then this very circular shape around the edge, which they're calling the arrow curve. I personally have always liked the look of kind of a circular shape, and just putting that around the top has been an interesting feel and an interesting look. I think to me it's kind of eye-catching. When I see it, I immediately recognize it. So kind of the signature part of this Hyperion series. So if you guys are curious about why we named it Hyperion, basically what I did with the YOOLA guys is I was like, I have a list of names that I like. You just choose one that you like out of them, and among the list was Hyperion, so they chose that one. They like the sound of it. But what it actually means and comes from, Hyperion is from Greek mythology. When I was young, I really liked Greek mythology, so I happen to know this character from it. So Hyperion is part of the Titans, which are kind of like older than gods in Greek mythology, if you know anything about it. And he was the Titan god of the sun. So I guess we're shining like the sun with this paddle. So for those curious for what names got turned down and Hyperion came out on top, we had Domitor, Halcyon, Vector, Praetor, Bravo, Presence, Pinnacle. Nobody steal these names. I still want to use these names eventually, all right? So we even have some still from some Greek mythology as well. We got Eos, Eon, and Atlas. All of those sound pretty cool to me. So if you ever need a paddle name, just come to yours truly. So I've also done an apparel switch with YOOLA. They produce all of their own stuff. I'm really liking what they've produced thus far. We got this massive but subtle print here. Got the big YOOLA logo. And they got some sick patterns and colors, so it's been fun to kind of sport those new things, and the feedback so far has been pretty good from you guys, so thanks a lot for that. So yeah, it's been fun to sport some new stuff. So those were my initial thoughts of YOOLA and the Hyperion series here. So now we got some championships to win. Let's get it.